All right, here we go. Continuous learning, developing a personal learning network. How many of you have your own personal learning networks? You can unmute yourself and talk about what are some of the things that you do for your personal learning networks as we're going along through this presentation. Okay, so we're talking about this time from the ISTE Coaches Standard, the Connected Learner. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of things there. One of them is that talks about professional learning, and you need to pursue professional learning so that you can deepen your understanding and your expertise, participate in professional learning networks, as well as establish shared goals with educators. And those are some important things to think about. To always become a connected learner and to always be learning and thinking of ways that you can learn and new ways. One of the interesting things that we're going to talk about is defining a PLN. It's a personal learning network, why it's important to have a PLN, developing a PLN, and how I got started or how you can get started. Okay. A personal learning network lets you decide who and when you're going to be engaging in the network, what your topics or ideas are, what you want to learn about. That's what's nice about it being personalized. So you can decide on what's important to you to learn about, whether it's a Bitmoji classroom, or maybe you want to find out some more about engaging students in their learning. And then your network is a group of people or individuals, or even maybe websites or blogs that you like to follow. Okay, ways to connect in your building. A personal learning network doesn't necessarily have to be technology infused all the time. There are ways that you can connect in your building. One of them is through your team meetings, taking a few minutes during a team meeting and maybe sharing something that you just learned about, or maybe sharing a book that you're reading. One of the fun things that I remember doing way back when I first started teaching, came out of the university, was there were a group of us that got together as teachers, and we would meet once a month. We had a potluck, and we would just share ideas and what we were doing in our classroom and giving other people ideas that we could do. And that was our group share. And we did it once a month, potluck. It was fun. You can do the same thing in your schools by taking and having some lunchroom talk. Just getting out of your classroom, going down the hallway, sitting in the lunchroom, and talking with other professionals that are there in the lunchroom at the same time you are. Attending conferences or even being part of a book study can help you with putting together that personal learning network that you have. Okay. Why is it important to have? Because a personal learning network can be flexible. That means you can learn on your time, but more importantly, you become more of a global community, more as a part of that global community. It can be personalized, fit your needs, practical, real-time solutions. There's a lot of people out there, whether it's through Pinterest or Twitter, that you can type in a little, like you're having an issue with something or you want to find out some more about engagement, student engagement, and there are people that have already posted things or are going to be posting things that can give you some ideas for that. Quick access, and there's a lot of great experts out there that you can tap in to what they are doing in their classroom or ways they are helping students to learn. Okay, this was something that I did quite a few years ago. It was actually in one of Jared's class. It was developing your own professional learning network or personal learning network. And I had to map it out to find out where it was that I wanted to learn from. Blogs, websites, other colleagues, social networking, Twitter, Facebook. And so I kind of blocked it out and made my own like graphic organizer to kind of help me why I was going to Twitter. What was my purpose for going to Twitter? What did I want to look for there? Why was I going to C Forum? Why was I following TCA, which is the Texas Technology Consortium they have there? And so it kind of helped to solidify what I was going through and why I was using those tools. One of the great ways that I started out in developing my personal learning network was going through website and blogs. Nearpod has a great blog that you can follow. It's fun to look at, and it's wonderful to see the many tips that they have. But also, right now, they're doing some monthly theme related blog posts and information there. So it's all on digital citizenship for October. And these are great resources for Nearpod that you can look at and find out what's up and coming or ways that you can use Nearpod creatively in your classroom to help with your student engagement. There's educator stories on this blog post, and there's where well as it has updates for you to use. Another one that I like to follow is Innovating Play. The Innovating Play one is one that's mainly I like to follow because I am a K-2 teacher at heart. I taught first grade for a lot of years, and these two teachers, Christine Pinto and Jessica Twomey, Christine Pinto teaches in California. Jessica teaches in New York. And I love to see the activities that they do with their students with Chromebooks, and they are kindergarten, and how they get their students to interact on a Chromebook and with the technology and the fun activities that they do in this blog post. They have they archive their Twitter chats, they any presentations they're doing, templates, interviews that they've done, everything is highlighted, and they also have a blog here that I love to follow because they have class culture, digital literacy, and basic tech skills, blended learning. And so if I wanted to find some more out about blended learning, I could click on that, and they have done their posts where you can click on them and get some ideas about using blended learning in your classroom. So I love that um, post, Innovating Play. It's great. I referenced earlier TCEA, that's the Texas Consortium for Technology and Education. And I'm a member of TCEA, but I love their blog posts because it's really fun. Oh, my link didn't work. So I'll just go back. But their blog post is wonderful to follow because they give great resources. Like this is upping your Canva game. This is a post that was created. They do several, like a 2 or 3 part, sometimes series. This is the getting started with a student centered coaching model. 5 unexpended search tools for you. And I just kind of follow this and look at it and see what I might want to follow. And it's just if you subscribe to this blog post, then you will get little highlights that'll come in in your district mail that you can then file away and go back and look at as you're wanting to learn more. And then also a great place to start and learn about a blog post and anything that you have is UEN. UEN is a great source for information. There's so much there for UEN in so many different ways that they're doing their blog posts as well as information. You can click up here under professional learning, and they have their core tools that they're following. So if you want to find out something from UEN on Canvas, you can click on Canvas. If you want to find out something about eMedia, you can click on eMedia. If you want to find out some things about Google, you can click on the Google tools. And so I really love following UEN and learning what they have and the new things that they are putting forth in on their website. Okay. Other ways that I learn is through Twitter. I've really gotten interested in it in the last little while, going through and doing ed chats and Twitter feeds with that. And looking at the Twitter feed, I just lost my page here. Sorry about that. So let me exit this full screen so that I can. Okay, hold on. Small technical difficulties. Let's go over here. Okay, get that out of the way. So when I go to Twitter, and this is my Twitter feed right here, what I'm following. I started off very simply when I wanted to get started with Twitter. I started following like Colby. I started following Kira. Um, I started following Larissa. And anytime I went to a conference, a lot of times people will put up their Twitter handles, which are like mine's at DI Taylor 2T. And you can find them and start following, like Kira's right here, so I can follow Kira. And then you'll also get recommendations of people that Kira's following. And you also like, there's a great one on Twitter that you can follow if you like Bitmoji Classrooms. There's a Bitmoji Classroom Twitter um, uh, Twitter handle that they do nothing but put things in for Bitmoji Classrooms. I've gotten interested lately with task cards, as well as other things that people are submitting for different activities to help engage students, like being thankful student treasures. And so there's a lot of things you can do in Twitter. And then every Wednesday night, I'm going to put a plug in for this, but every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock is the Utah Ed Chat. And you can join at 8 o'clock, and there are questions that are asked, and you can go get into a Twitter feed and make more connections with people and answer the questions and find out what other people are thinking. And there's great resources that actually come out of that Ed Chat. And so Kira has done quite a few. She's done a few. Colby, I know, has hosted one. So I would encourage you to look at doing an Ed Chat or being part of one of our Ed Chats on at 8 o'clock. One of the other places that I love to go to are the GEG, which is the Google Educator Group, the Utah Google Educator Group. And they have a newsletter that they put out that when you subscribe to the Google group, you can see their newsletter and find some great resources with Google tools, as well as Nearpod also has one. And so you can go to their website. I'll just go right here to the Google Educator Group. This is the website. You can sign up, check out their September meetup. This is the one that we just did. And as well as their newsletter is right here on the blog post. But they also have the daily shares that they do for each month, as well as the Google Help. So starting slowly and working on looking at different ways to connect to learners and connect yourself are wonderful opportunities to develop your own personal learning network. Okay. And I'd like to right now take the opportunity to hear from some of you in what ways you connect with others to start that professional learning network, because we learn best if we are collaborating and working together. So unmute your mic and let's have a discussion.
So say I made a lot of like teacher connections when I was at USET. And so we reach out and email back and forth when we find a new tool or tried something new in our schools. And I have a few that I email that are here in the area, but two that I collaborate most with are actually down in St. George.
Yeah. Conferences are a great way to connect. It was wonderful. Kira, what's one way that you like to connect with people?
Well, one way that I found really helpful that's kind of more local is when I get involved in like endorsements. So, for instance, the Coaching Institute this last year, I was able to get introduced to people across the district that I hadn't had the chance to work with because they were in different schools. And I found that professional learning group really helpful because we're going through the endorsement together, but we also like we're able to share experiences and to like learn and get things from one another. Similarly, like in the ed tech endorsement, like both the people that I went through with it, as well as like seeing the people in my classes now, like I feel like that's a great cohort of learners, and they're able to share resources and ideas across the district.
Yep. Joanne, how do you connect?
Mostly face to face. That's why I signed up for the tech endorsement, so you could teach me all of these things a little more slowly.
Yeah,
I am like, there's so many different things with the Twitter and the Instagram and Facebook. I pretty much got off of Facebook because there's too many ads and everything, and I just never got into Twitter and Instagram and things. So it's just one of those areas that I have to just step into, that I'm slowly and reluctantly going that direction.
Well, one of the things that you have to realize when you're starting to develop your personal learning network is start slow. Start with something that makes you feel comfortable, that you're comfortable doing. If you're just comfortable, like with Facebook, if you're comfortable with Facebook, you do it with your family. Start a new page in Facebook that is just dedicated to you working with your education colleagues, and then follow some people that you are interested in learning from, or maybe that that are other teachers in the district. Or like a good one to follow is to follow the superintendent on Facebook, because then or our DTL Twitter feed. What now, Kira? Can you help me with what the hashtag is for our DTL Twitter? Can you put that in the chat for us? Because that's a great one if you want to get started with Twitter, is just follow that. And then you can branch out from there.
I do follow teachers on Mastery Connect.
Oh, and that's a great one. I forgot about Mastery Connect. Thank you for bringing that up. Mastery Connect does have that ability to let you connect with other people in other communities. Let me go through and exit this and show you guys that. And I'll go into Mastery Connect so you can see that. Because I'm going to log in here. Mastery Connect takes a little bit of time to get going, but I had completely forgotten. Thank you so much for bringing that one up. Because a lot of people aren't going to be aware that they can do this. And of course, it's taking a little bit longer than we want it to. Yeah, you can do this. I know you can. There we go. Yeah, Mastery Connect up here has a community button. And you can filter this community. You can look for just for teachers in the district. Okay. So you could look for teachers that you want to follow that are at either another or at your same school, or maybe another school but the same grade. And so you can go into grade level. You can find all the first grade teachers if you wanted to, or the ones that teach math, or if you only want to have the ones that have a photo so you can see who they are, you can check that. So you can drill down, and it's simply kind of a lot like, Facebook, Twitter. You just hit the follow button and then you're following them. And what that does is if they post something, because you know that you have your home feed here in Mastery Connect, if they post something here, anything that's recently posted is going to come up here in the news feed, and you'll be able to see what other teachers are posting or using by following them. And Mastery Connect, I completely forgot about it. That's just a great one to use because you can follow that. Also, another great thing to start is to look at getting together and putting together a contact group in Google, and just having that contact group of teachers. Maybe they're teachers that are at different schools. Like maybe a sixth grade teacher that's at Silvercrest, and maybe there's a sixth grade teacher at Falcon Ridge, maybe there's a sixth grade teacher at Oakcrest, and you guys all want to collaborate and get together. You can make yourselves a contact group to be able to email back and forth and share ideas that way. And that's a fun thing to do, is just to connect outside of your own little world. One of the basic things and the greatest things to do when you're trying to develop that personal learning network is you want to become a lifelong learner, and this is an easy way for you to do it. And it's an easy way for you to connect with others outside of your own sphere of influence. And so you can get more perspectives and better ideas when you're connecting outside of your realm there, your schoolroom. Okay. Oh, good. Kira, thank you for putting that in there. Kira's put our DTL Twitter handle, and I'm going to put mine here.
I would also add to that. Joanne made a really good point about like our sometimes our most effective learning groups are like the ones that we have face to face. So one thing that I did to kind of change the lunchroom conversation whenever it would get kind of negative was that I would bring up the topic of Utah Ed Chat that week. And I would say like, hey, I know you guys aren't on Twitter, but this was the conversation topic for this week. What do you guys think? And it really helps change the direction of those lunchtime conversations and made it more productive, I felt, instead of it just being like a complaining session, which is helpful sometimes and necessary. But I didn't want to stay in that space. And so by bringing up these educational topics, I was able to like kind of broaden the conversation and make some new connections with those people that I saw every day. I got to see like, oh, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And it helped broaden our conversation.
Yeah, and that's a fun thing to do. Colby, what about you? What are some of the greatest ways you have helped to develop your personal learning network?
Well, I think a lot of the things that you've already mentioned are great. I was one who was a little bit reluctant to use Twitter for a while, like to actually engage on Twitter. I would follow people, but I didn't ever put anything out on Twitter, never tweeted, never participated in Utah Head Chat until last year. And just by doing that, by being more active on Twitter, it's given me a lot more opportunities to connect with people that I probably would never have. So like engaging with Utah Ad Chat and then like following the people that are part of the chat, then you get to see their content. And then like later you meet them at a conference, you're like, oh, we follow each other on Twitter, and you finally meet them in real life, and it kind of increases that connection. But like the face-to-face connections and endorsements and your building, like those are probably who you collaborate with the most because they have a similar setting to yours. And I think that that's really important. And then I guess one other thing that has been important for me is getting involved in like ambassador or like certified educator groups has been helpful for me too. Like the Google certified coaching and then being part of that mail list has been really helpful to just get new ideas all the time that people are sharing or questions people are asking. Like, oh yeah, that's a question I have too. Then you see all the responses.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Getting those certifications can really help you to better be able to increase your ability to use the tool. But not only that, you're also networking outside of the group, of yourself in the group. You're looking for different ways that you can learn. And I have to agree with all that you've said. Personal interactions are wonderful, and you need to have those personal interactions where you're working together and collaborating together. But you also need to have that time when you can learn on your own. So there's a nice blending when you're talking about being a continuous learner, is trying to find a good mix and a good blend of what's going to help you to learn and grow in your practice. Okay.
So what do you recommend? Like I don't have Twitter downloaded, so I have to download. I'll have to do an account. Do you recommend that you use your personal email? Do you? I don't know if is it connected to other things where people get stuff, or your work email? What do you do?
That's a great question. Myself personally, I have my personal email, and I have a personal like Facebook and a personal Twitter account. That's like all of my fun things that I want to learn to. And then I have my district email that I used. And that's the one that I keep for my professional one. And it gets kind of to be a juggling act sometimes because you forget which one you're in. But I like to keep them separate. That's myself personally. Now, I know other people like to use the same email. It's what's going to be comfortable for you. And if you're not quite comfortable starting out with Twitter, just do like Colby did and just go to Twitter, get yourself an account. You don't have to follow anybody, but just start following some of the feeds and seeing what's there. And then you'll start to get more comfortable with the platform itself. Does that help?
I would say too that like especially with like Twitter, or if you're creating any of these social medias to create these professional connections, is that you kind of want to look at it like long term. Like, what if you switch school districts and you don't have access to your district email anymore? Then you would have to create a whole new account, and it's suspicious when you see multiple accounts from the same person over and over again. Like, I have an aunt on Facebook that like keeps requesting me as a friend. I'm like, I think you're hacked if you keep creating a new account and
Right.
liking it to me. So that's why I recommend using at least your personal email, or one of your, like, I have so many personal emails, but starting out with that, because I'm always going to have access to it. I might not always have access to my work email, right? But regardless, if it's your personal email, but it's a public facing account, so you're using these social media accounts for a professional purpose, then you make it a virtual you, right? So you put a profile picture that so people can recognize you. You put it in your bio, like, hey, I'm a teacher. These are the things that I'm interested in. That way, other people who see your profile can be like, oh, they're in education. I'm in education. I'm going to follow you. It's really hard for people who have like a blank profile picture or have a blank bio. It's like, I don't know who Sam 37521 is. Like, I don't know. I don't recognize that as an actual person, right? But if you're using these as like a professional network, then it needs to be you, but just in a virtual space.
Right, exactly. And always fill out those bio feeds, like Kara said, because those give people also interest, because they'll ask you some things you like, some things you're interested in. And so that'll also kind of generate some other people that may follow you. You're interested in different things. Okay.
Okay.
That way. And I think, any other questions that you have? I hope you've enjoyed this session and learned a little bit about what you can do. Yeah, check out some of those blogs and Twitters, and you'll have the slide deck and everything will be in our the course, the digital teacher leader course that we have in Canvas. It'll be in there along with this recording. Will also be in there with it. So
also Utah Ed Chat this week
that's
is
right.
about professional learning communities. So it's a perfect topic.
It's perfect timing. Yay. That's perfect. Yeah, 8
so
o'clock.
on Wednesday, just search Utah Ed Chat with the hashtag, and then you'll see everybody's answers in the feed. So some people are like, how do I get started? You just search hashtag Utah Ed Chat, and you'll start to see the questions. You'll start to see everyone's answers. And it's perfect because it's all about this topic.
Yep. And I just put it in there, hashtag Utah Ed Chat. So it's in the chat if you guys wanted to copy it. So you could copy it down and have it there. Okay.
Okay.
And that'll be perfect for you to join it. It's really fun. I've been very good at using Twitter before, but I've been into a couple of them and they have been really fun to see the resources and to connect with some different people. So it's been fun.
Cool.
So, all right. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining. Okay.
Bye.